Tendrils of Betrayal. Chapter 1. The Assassin in the Shadows. Her name was Zyra Valen, whispered military asset across the outer colonies as the Tendril. A phantom, a weapon, a myth. She was not born but engineered in the Directorate's hidden laboratories, sculpted from alien DNA and human ambition. Within her body lived the arsenal that gave her name. Venomous tendrils that could pierce high-carbon armor, manipulate acidic and toxic energies, poison bloodstreams, and silence entire squads in seconds at a distance. She was a weapon disguised as an arachnoid woman, tall and lithe. For years, the Directorate had wielded her like a scalpel against rebellion. Rivals vanished, insurgents collapsed, witnesses were erased. She was their perfect instrument, until the experiments that created her were exposed after going far over budget. Now, the Directorate sought to erase the evidence, to cut off loose ends. And Zyra, their most dangerous creation, was at the top of that list. Sensing danger, she slipped away from her safe house, now seeking refuge anywhere outside the Directorate's grasp. The Kryn Delta spaceport sprawled across the horizon like a rusted beast, its towers of steel and neon signs flickering against the smog. Cargo haulers rumbled across cracked pavement, merchants shouted over the din, and travelers pressed through the chaos with the weary rhythm of survival. Zyra moved among them unseen, her hood drawn low, her steps silent. People parted instinctively, sensing the predator in their midst, though they could not name why. Then someone brushed past her. "Excuse me, miss," a voice said, casual, human, unafraid. Zyra froze. "Miss," she repeated in her mind. No one had ever called her that. No one had ever seen her as a woman. She turned. The man was tall, broad-shouldered, his uniform plain but worn with the marks of service. His eyes lingered on her, not with fear, but with recognition. Draven Holt, former combat medic, now systems analyst, traveling under Earth's delegation. His gaze was steady, the kind of gaze that had seen blood and chosen to heal instead of kill. Before she could respond, alarms blared. Sirens shrieked across the spaceport. The floor trembled as blast doors slammed shut. Neon lights flickered, casting the crowd in stuttering shadows. The Directorate strike teams had arrived. Black-armored soldiers poured into the concourse, rifles raised, visors glowing red. Their movements were precise, merciless. They had come for her with the confidence of corporate power that sought and never asked why. Zyra's tendrils unfurled from beneath her cloak, living whips of muscle and venom. They lashed out with lethal precision, slicing through armor, piercing throats, silencing screams. The crowd scattered in panic, bodies pressing against walls, desperate to escape the slaughter. Draven ducked behind her, instincts sharp, courage unyielding. He had seen battlefields before, but never anything like this in a place where people had not come to die. Zyra moved like a storm, her tendrils weaving a dance of death, her eyes cold and focused. "Stay close," she hissed, voice low, alien and human all at once. Draven obeyed. He grabbed a fallen soldier's sidearm, checking the charge with practiced ease. He wasn't a killer, but he knew how to survive. Together they pushed through collapsing corridors, the spaceport shaking under the assault. Neon signs flickered above them, casting fractured light across their path. Smoke filled the air, acrid and choking. Zyra's tendril struck again, tearing through a squad that blocked their escape. Draven fired in short bursts, covering her flanks, his aim precise, as she watched him hit his mark every time. Was it his weapon? No, his eyes. She took mental note and ripped her a wave of corrosive power down a hall of incoming soldiers, burning them alive. They moved as if they had trained together, though they had met only minutes before. The Directorate's voice boomed over the loudspeakers. Target identified. Terminate the asset. No witnesses. Zyra's jaw tightened. Asset. That was all she had ever been to them. She looked around, seeing the innocents slaughtered along the lower levels from the far side of their location. Draven glanced at her, sweat streaking his brow. "You're not an asset, he said, voice firm even in the chaos. You're a person. The words struck her harder than any bullet. She had never heard them spoken to her. Explosions ripped through the concourse, glass shattering, steel groaning. The strike teams pressed closer, their rifles spitting fire. Zyra's tendrils lashed, Draven's shots rang, but the tide was endless. They darted into a maintenance tunnel, the walls dripping with condensation, pipes hissing overhead. The air was thick with steam, the floor slick with oil. Behind them, the thunder of boots echoed. Draven stumbled, catching himself against the wall. Where are we going? Out, Zyra said. Her voice was clipped, but her tendrils curled protectively away from him. The tunnel opened into a cargo bay, crates stacked high, forklifts abandoned mid-shift. The Directorate soldiers swarmed in, their visors glowing like predators in the dark. Zyra fought with feral grace, her tendrils slicing through steel and flesh alike. Draven covered her, firing until his weapon overheated, then grabbing another from the fallen. They moved together, back to back, a medic and an assassin bound by necessity. The bay doors loomed ahead, massive and sealed. Zyra's tendrils pierced the control panel, sparks flying, circuits sizzling. The doors groaned, then began to rise. Cold night air rushed in, carrying the scent of cooler air. Go, she shouted. Draven sprinted, Zyra at his side, her tendrils retracting beneath her cloak. Behind them, the Directorate soldiers roared, their rifles blazing. Bullets sparked against steel, ricocheting into the night. They burst into the open, the spaceport sprawling behind them, the stars burning above. Sirens wailed, searchlights swept, but they did not stop. In that chaos, a bond sparked, fragile, unexpected, undeniable. Chapter 2: Escape and Revelation. They found refuge in the Obsidian Warrens, a labyrinth of abandoned cargo tunnels beneath the port. The air was damp, heavy with the scent of rust and oil, and the walls echoed with the distant hum of machinery long forgotten. Shadows clung to every corner, and the silence was broken only by the drip of condensation and the faint hiss of steam. Zyra's body trembled, her tendrils twitching with residual venom. She pressed her back against the cold steel, her breath ragged. Draven crouched nearby, his medic's eye-catching details others would miss, the unnatural sheen of her skin, the faint discoloration where the tendrils emerged, the way her pulse raced not from exertion but from fear. You're altered, he said softly, his voice carrying no judgment. Engineered, but not for humans. She scoffed, bitterness sharpening her words. I kill everything I touch. No, he countered firmly. Not me. He reached out, his hand brushing her arm. Her tendrils flared instinctively, venom surging, but they did not strike. The venom receded, curling back into her veins. Zyra's alien eyes glared sharply up at Draven's for a moment, realizing something amazing had happened. For the first time, she felt warmth instead of death. The touch was sensual, electric, terrifying. She gasped, her body betraying her training, her heart racing with something she had never known: intimacy. They explored that fragile connection in stolen moments. His hand traced the ridges of her altered skin, mapping the places where science had carved her into something more than human. Her tendrils curled not in violence, but in curiosity, brushing against him like cautious fingers. She was discovering herself not as a weapon, but as a woman. Draven's voice broke the silence, low and vulnerable. I've seen too many die, he confessed. Men I couldn't save. I was a combat medic, stationed on the front lines. I had clearance, high clearance. I saw things most soldiers never knew existed. Experiments, projects, failures. And every time I tried to heal, I knew I was patching wounds that were never meant to close. Zyra turned toward him, her crimson eyes softening. You carry ghosts. He nodded. One of them was a friend, a researcher. Brilliant. He cracked a problem no one else could: cellular regeneration. He thought it would save lives. Instead, it got him killed. His professor, a man named Kaelen Drax, took the credit, twisted the work, and when my friend refused to comply, he disappeared. I know what happened. Drax had him erased. The name lingered in the air like poison. Zyra's tendril shivered. Drax, she whispered. I know that name. He was one of the architects. He studied me, dissected me in ways I can't forget. When I refused certain assignments, targets I couldn't kill, innocents, I was punished. Later, those same people died anyway. They said it was me, but it wasn't. It was someone else. A copycat. Her voice cracked, the bitterness giving way to pain. They blamed me for murders I didn't commit. They said the tendril had struck again. But I knew it was him. Drax. He replicated my cells, my tendrils. He made another weapon. A shadow of me. Draven's jaw tightened, his hands curling into fists. He's the one. He's the reason my friend is dead. He's the reason you're hunted. He's the reason the Directorate keeps its grip. He's not just a scientist. He's a parasite. And he's building something worse than you or me. Zyra's eyes met his, and for a moment they shared the same wound. The betrayal of trust, the theft of humanity. I don't want to be a weapon anymore, she whispered. I want to be something else, but I don't know how. Draven reached out again, his hand steady. Then let me help you. You're not alone anymore. Her tendrils curled around his wrist, not in violence, but in fragile trust. The gesture was intimate, vulnerable, a silent promise. But danger was closing in. The Directorate's High Executor Malric Kael commanded the hunt. A towering figure clad in obsidian armor, his presence was a storm given form. He wielded a plasma halberd that could cleave ships in half, and his reputation was built on ruthlessness. Malric was relentless, determined to erase Zyra and silence Draven before their revelations spread. Beside him lurked advisor Celine Vera, the cunning architect of the genetic experiments. She thrived in shadows, her mind sharper than any blade, her schemes more lethal than armies. Celine whispered lies into Malric's ear, plotting to seize control of the Directorate once Zyra was destroyed. In the Warrens, Zyra and Draven heard the echo of boots, the hiss of plasma rifles charging. The hunt was closing in. Draven grabbed her hand. We can't stay here. Zyra's tendrils writhed, sensing the approach. They'll never stop. Then we keep moving, he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes burned with defiance. We survive. And when the time comes, we face Drax together. The tunnels shook as explosions ripped through the Warrens. Dust rained from the ceiling, pipes burst, steam hissed. Malric's voice thundered through the corridors. Tendril, you cannot hide. The Directorate owns your blood. Tonight you die. Zyra's heart pounded. Draven's grip tightened. Together, they fled deeper into the labyrinth, shadows swallowing them whole. Chapter 3. Exposing the Cell. The final confrontation erupted in the Glass Spire district, a glittering tower city above the port. Malric's strike teams descended, plasma fire scorching the streets. Zyra fought with feral grace, her tendrils slicing through soldiers, her body a blur of lethal motion. Draven hacked into the Directorate's comms, broadcasting evidence of the illegal experiments across the galactic net. The truth spread like wildfire, igniting whispers of rebellion in every corner of the colonies. Malric confronted them atop the spire, his halberd blazing. You are nothing but a failed experiment, he snarled, obsidian armor gleaming under the neon haze. Zyra stood tall, her tendrils writhing like serpents of living steel. No, she said, her voice steady. I am more than what you made me. Their battle was brutal. Malric's halberd clashed against her tendrils, sparks raining across the skyline. He was strength incarnate, but she was speed, precision, and fury. Draven aided her, channeling power into her strikes, guiding her movements with tactical brilliance. Together, they overwhelmed the High Executor, his armor shattered, his body cast into the abyss below. Celine Vera, watching from the shadows, tried to flee. But Draven exposed her schemes. Her voice caught on the broadcast. The galaxy saw her treachery, her lies unraveling. She was cornered, her cunning undone by truth. In the aftermath, Zyra stood beside Draven, her tendrils curling gently around his arm, not in violence, but in trust. For the first time, she was free. For the first time, she was seen not as an assassin, but as a woman. And together, they had exposed the Directorate's darkest secrets, igniting a rebellion that would reshape the stars. Hours later, the rebellion's first sparks still smoldering across the net, they found themselves aboard a stolen courier ship drifting beyond Kryn Delta's orbit. The vessel was small, its hull scarred, its engines humming with tired persistence. Inside, the cabin was quiet, lit only by the soft glow of consoles and the faint shimmer of starlight through the viewport. Zyra sat opposite Draven, her hood discarded, her tendrils coiled loosely at her sides. She looked less like the tendril, the assassin feared across colonies, and more like a woman trying to understand what freedom meant. Her voice broke the silence. "Draven, what is intimacy?" He blinked, caught off guard. "Intimacy. Yes." She leaned forward, her crimson eyes searching his. "I know killing. I know obedience. I know fear. But when you touched me in the Warrens, when you stood beside me on the spire, it felt different. I don't understand it." Draven's throat tightened. He had seen soldiers ask for morphine with their last breath, had heard men whisper names of lovers they would never see again. But never had anyone asked him to explain intimacy. "It's closeness," he said slowly. "It's trust. It's letting someone see you without armor. Sometimes it's physical, like kissing." "Kissing?" she repeated, tasting the word like it was foreign. He smiled faintly. "It's when two people press their lips together. It's simple, but it means connection." Zyra tilted her head, her tendrils twitching. "Show me." Draven hesitated, then leaned forward. Their faces drew close, breath mingling. His lips brushed hers, soft, tentative. For a heartbeat, she froze. Then her tendrils unfurled, not in violence, but in wonder. One tendril touched his temple, featherlight. And then she went deeper. Her consciousness flowed into his, melting barriers, weaving threads of thought and memory. Draven gasped, his mind flooded with images. Her childhood in sterile labs, the cold hands of scientists, the endless missions, the blood. He felt her loneliness, her longing, her shame. In return, she felt his memories, battlefields soaked in mud, the faces of men he could not save, the laughter of his lost friend, the betrayal of Kaelen Drax. She felt his guilt, his compassion, his stubborn hope. Their minds entwined, not just touching but merging. It was more than kissing, more than flesh. It was intimacy stripped bare, souls laid open. Draven's voice echoed in her mind. "You're not a weapon. You're a person." Her tendrils trembled. "And you're not just a medic. You are my anchor." They pulled back, breathless, eyes wide. The cabin was silent, but inside them a storm had passed, leaving only clarity. Zyra touched her lips, bewildered. That was more than kissing. Draven chuckled softly. "Yeah, I think you redefined intimacy." She smiled, a real smile, fragile but radiant. "Then I am learning." Chapter 4, A Final Escape. The rebellion spread like wildfire across the colonies. The Directorate's grip faltered, its secrets exposed, its enforcers scattered. Yet in the shadows, one name remained unspoken, one threat unchallenged. Kaelen Drax. Draven knew him too well. Once a professor, a mentor, a man who had shaped the minds of young researchers. But beneath the veneer of academia lay cruelty. Drax had stolen discoveries, erased rivals, and twisted science into weapons. He had killed Draven's friend, Elias Corrin, after Elias cracked the code of cellular regeneration. And now, whispers spoke of a new weapon, an imitation of Zyra, a copycat born from stolen cells. The courier ship drifted toward the Oblivion Array, a hidden fortress where Drax conducted his experiments. Zyra sat beside Draven in the cabin, her tendrils coiled loosely, her eyes fixed on the stars. She had never looked so human. "Tell me about Elias," she said softly. Draven's throat tightened. He was brilliant. He believed science should heal, not harm. He was the kind of man who stayed up all night to help a colleague, who laughed even when the world was falling apart. He cracked regeneration. He thought it would save soldiers, civilians, anyone. Drax saw profit. He saw control. And Elias paid the price. Zyra's tendrils brushed his hand, featherlight. "I was blamed for killings I never did. Innocents died, and they said it was me. But it was him, Drax. He made another tendril. He made shadows of me." Draven met her gaze. "Then we end him. Together." The Oblivion Array loomed ahead, a spire of black steel and humming machinery, orbiting a dead moon. Its surface bristled with turrets, its hangars swarmed with drones. It was less a fortress than a wound carved into space. They infiltrated through maintenance shafts, moving like shadows. Zyra's tendrils sliced through locks. Draven's codes bypassed security grids. The deeper they went, the colder the air became, as if the fortress itself exhaled death. In the central chamber, they found him. Kaelen Drax stood tall, his lab coat pristine, his eyes gleaming with arrogance. Around him, vats of fluid glowed, each containing twisted forms, half human, half tendril, abominations suspended in liquid. "Ah," Drax said, his voice smooth. "The tendril and her pet medic. You've caused quite a stir." Zyra's tendrils writhed. "You stole me. You stole him. You stole everything." Drax smiled. "I perfected you. And now I've perfected him." He gestured, and from the shadows stepped a figure. Draven's breath caught. It was Elias. Or what remained of him. His body was pale, tendrils erupting from his spine, his eyes glowing with unnatural light. His face was familiar, but twisted, scarred by experiments. "Elias," Draven whispered. The copycat moved with jerky precision, tendrils lashing. His voice was hollow, mechanical. "Draven, help me." Zyra's heart clenched. She saw herself in him, the weapon, the victim, the stolen humanity. Drax's laugh echoed. "He is mine now. My copycat. My perfected soldier. And he will kill you both." The chamber erupted in chaos. Elias lunged, tendrils slicing through steel. Draven ducked, firing bursts of plasma, but the copycat shrugged them off. Zyra met him head-on, her tendrils clashing against his in a storm of venom and fury. The bond between her and Draven flared. Their consciousnesses intertwined, their movements synchronized. She was faster, stronger, immune to the poison that once plagued her. He felt her strength flow into him, his reflexes sharpened, his vision clearer. "Left," Draven shouted, and Zyra pivoted, her tendrils striking Elias's flank. "Now," she cried, and Draven fired, his shots guided by her instincts. But Elias was relentless. His tendrils pierced Draven's arm, venom flooding his veins. Draven staggered, pain searing. Zyra screamed, her tendrils wrapping around him, channeling the bond. The venom met her consciousness, and she absorbed it, neutralizing it. Draven's breath steadied, his strength returning. "You can't kill what is already dead," Drax sneered. Zyra's eyes blazed. "Then I will free him." She struck with fury, her tendrils piercing Elias's chest. For a moment, his eyes cleared. He looked at Draven, tears shimmering. "Thank you for remembering me." Then he collapsed, his body dissolving into ash and venom. Draven's heart broke, but Zyra's tendrils wrapped around him, holding him steady. "He is free," she whispered. Drax's smile faltered. "You think you've won? I have armies. I have fleets. I have resources beyond your comprehension." Draven stepped forward, his voice steady. "You have nothing. Your secrets are exposed. Your soldiers are gone, and your science dies with you." Drax raised a weapon, a tendril-forged blade. He lunged, but Zyra met him, her tendrils wrapping around his arms, crushing the weapon. Draven fired, plasma searing through Drax's chest. The professor staggered, his arrogance crumbling. "I perfected you," he gasped. Zyra's tendrils pierced his heart. "No. You destroyed yourself." Drax collapsed, his body consumed by the very tendrils he had created. Silence fell. The vats flickered, their contents dissolving. The fortress trembled, systems failing. Draven turned to Zyra, his arm bleeding, his eyes weary. "We did it." She touched his face, her tendrils brushing his temple. Their minds merged again, deeper than before. She felt his grief, his love, his hope. He felt her pain, her longing, her newfound humanity. "I am yours," she whispered. "Not as a weapon, as a woman." He kissed her, their lips meeting, but their bond went beyond flesh. Their consciousnesses melted together, souls entwined. They were not two, they were one. The fortress collapsed, but its data banks remained. Drax's vast resources, credits, fleets, research, transferred into their hands. The rebellion's leaders hailed them as saviors, as symbols of hope. Zyra stood beside Draven, her tendrils curled gently around his arm. "We undo what he did," she said. "We heal what he broke." Draven nodded. "We use his power to destroy the Directorate, to free the colonies, to build something better." Together, they watched the stars. The galaxy trembled, but for the first time, it trembled with hope. Zyra was no longer the tendril. Draven was no longer just a medic. Together, they were something new, bonded souls, wielding power not for control but for freedom. And as Drax's empire crumbled, their bond became the foundation of a new galaxy.